Alright, what's up guys? It's Zach here with Zach and Tara Photography. It's been a while, I know, but I'm definitely trying to get back to bringing you guys more helpful info about what we do behind the scenes and just general tips to help both photographers and people that are in the process of planning their wedding. So, it's definitely been a very busy year. Last time I talked to you guys was probably just about a year ago. It was our first time going full time as a business, and thank God we had a successful year. We had just over about 20 weddings, 20 very successful weddings, doing both photo and video. And from doing so many weddings, we've learned so much from trial and error. We learned what works best for us. Some of these tips could be very helpful to you too. So today we're going to be focusing on general tips for shooting a wedding. General helpful information that could help you, anybody that is in the process of thinking of becoming a wedding photographer. If you've been shooting for 5 or 10 years, 15, maybe you can get some helpful information out of this, or you can add your input in the comments. So my first tip is going to be to plan with your couple. Now for us, engagement shoots are pretty much mandatory for us, unless we do get a wedding where the couple is from out of town and it's pretty hard for them to travel here. It doesn't happen too often, but I definitely understand they can't just come here and have an engagement shoot. But for the most part, we make engagement shoots mandatory, and the reason being is because we see engagement shoots as more than just a way to get save the date photos for invitations. We see it as a way for you to work with us, meet us, see how we work, and form a general relationship with our client. Come wedding day, it does make a huge difference. Every wedding that we've done, we notice a drastic difference between when we meet our couple at engagement photos and then when our first time meeting the couples on the wedding day. We have a good rapport, they know how we work, they know what to expect from us, and it's a much better or smoother experience throughout the day. So meeting and planning with your couple is important, I think. Maybe talking to them a couple times, doing a couple Zoom calls and talking about what their expectations are, what your expectations are, what to expect from you, and then just general planning back and forth. So it's very helpful and it makes for a much better wedding day. Our next tip is having a general timeline for your day. Now this could be from the coordinator who's running the planning. It could be from your couple who's kind of done some work on their own, or you could provide a sample timeline for your couples, which is a great idea and something that I highly recommend. A lot of the times, you may be the first person they reach out to in the wedding planning process, which is a great chance for you to hop on early and kind of send them a sample timeline with photography as the main concern. Sometimes coordinators, and it's on accident, it may not be on purpose, but they make a timeline and don't have photography as a main concern, or the lighting, the time of day, the sunset. So what we like to do is send out a sample timeline that we recommend both for summer and winter, because daylight savings changes things, and that helps out to make an organized timeline for the day. So speaking of timeline, for us, we've learned that in summer, an ideal start time for a ceremony is probably around 6 p.m. Here in Virginia, sunset in the summers can be as late as 8:30, sometimes even later. So 6 p.m. ceremony start time is great because you can get photos before the ceremony, and of course as the ceremony ends and you're doing your bridal party photos and family portraits, it naturally leads to softer lighting as the sun sets. In the wintertime, 4 p.m., maybe even earlier for a ceremony start time is ideal for us. Around this time of year, sun's starting to set at almost 4:45, 5 o'clock. So I normally tell couples who are getting married in the wintertime that it's very helpful to have a first look. I'll save that for another video, but first looks definitely make the day much easier as far as getting all the photos that you want. Another good tip I'd say that's very helpful for a wedding day is knowing the shots that you want to get. I try to go on every single wedding knowing that there's a checklist of shots that I know that are important both to myself and to the couple. In general, the first thing I like to start out with is detail photos. There's a big way of telling the story, setting the tone for the wedding when you're making their album. My wife usually is the one to handle detailed photos. And she gets everything from the bride's shoes, jewelry, dress, veil, makeup, perfume, all that stuff that can help tell a story with the details. After the details, we usually try to go right into getting ready photos. Shots of the bridesmaids in their robes still, putting the finishing touches on their makeup. I usually wait till the makeup's completely done before I start shooting pictures of the bridesmaids, because of course I figured that they appreciate that more. But then of course we get photos together with the robes on, champagne flutes. Kind of a fun time to just relax before everybody starts getting dressed. After getting ready shots, we usually move on to the bride putting on her dress. This involves, her mother, her maid of honor. She might want to get dressed with her mother alone and do like a reveal with her bridesmaids. But this is also a big portion of the day where you can get some really great moments and also more portraits for the bride. And who doesn't love more portraits? After that, of course, We moved to bridal party photos. Of course, we'll do something similar with the guys. It won't be as lengthy in time. You know, the guys are usually much easier for me to do because there's not as much going on. Getting dressed for the guys doesn't take much time, but I still like to take advantage of it. The best man helping put on the coat. The guys kind of getting their suits on and doing the last finishing touches, messing with their cufflinks, fixing their ties, and also try to get some details of the guys too. So his watch, his shoes, any accents that may be meaningful to him on a wedding day. Another big part of the wedding day after that is, of course, bridal party photos. Photos of all the guys together, photos of all the girls together, and then photos of everyone together. Now this could be before the ceremony or after, depending on whether or not they have a first look. Me personally, I prefer a first look. As always, this just takes the stress off of being on time throughout the day, and you get almost twice as much photos when you do a first look. And of course, my favorite part of the day, portraits. Portraits of the bride by herself, portraits of the groom by himself, portraits of the bride and groom together. These are what I call your money shots. These are the shots that are most likely going to end up in your portfolio. These are the shots that you're going to post on social media, that your clients are going to love and fall in love with the most. And this can be done throughout the entire day. This can be done when your bride puts on a dress, when the groom's getting ready, when they take their photos together, at sunset. There's never a time where you can't find a good time for portraits. My last tip, and I'm not going to give you guys too much, there's so many more tips that I could give you, but my last tip for today is to shoot a lot. The cameras that they have today are capable of taking so many photos in a small amount of time. It's not like back in the day where it took so long to take one photo, adjust your camera, then take another. Use that to your benefit. There's nothing wrong with taking, you know, too many photos. I would say, me personally, I would say it would be worse to not have enough photos. You don't have to use everything. When you're culling afterwards and editing, just take what you need, and you don't have to look through every single photo, but you never know on moments that you might end up using in post-processing. So there's been a lot of times where I've just shot and I've gotten a lot of good moments by accident. You know, there's a moment that may not be meaningful to you because there's no context, but you never know how meaningful that moment might be to the client. So, you know, hopefully these tips help you, whether you're a photographer that's thinking about shooting weddings, or if you're a photographer that's been shooting weddings for a while. So I hope these were able to give you a little bit of help, a little bit of insight. If you have any more tips that you might want to share, please leave them in the comments. I definitely would love to hear them. You know, this is still a process that we're learning so much every single day, and there's some great photographers out there, and I'd love to hear your input. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. I can't wait to bring you the next video.